We talk about movies, and this season we talk about the movie M on Keystone Copycats. Hello and welcome to Keystone Copycats with Chris and Zach. I, of course, your Zach, and he, of course, is your other host with a synopsis for last week's
wants
movie.
to buy you flowers. I'll read it right now. That was a little spin doctor. All right, I didn't do a synopsis for last week, so in case anyone was wondering what it was for Don't Tell Your Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Which is not the movie we watched.
TriStar Pictures presents two crazy kids and a hootenanny of mischief awaiting a fate unknown to those that know not the fate.
Hootenanny of mischief is my favorite phrase.
I didn't even bother to. I wrote that without watching the movie or reading the synopsis.
Yeah, I can tell.
Oh, you could?
It has nothing to do with the movie.
No.
Two crazy kids face a hootenanny of mischief. What?
There was when he fell down the roof and hit his balls on the vent. Yeah, that movie was.
I really loved that movie.
Wacky.
It was so good. Anyone who didn't listen to last week's episode, it was so good.
You know what I still have on my face?
Makeup
from Halloween. I can't get it off under my nose, so it looks like I have. Sorry, everyone. It looks like I have dried up under my nose, like dried up
skin
cocaine.
Oh, okay.
All over my face. I was gonna say snot. I didn't really think. But anyway, no, I can't get it off. And then my fiance was trying to scrub a dub me, and I can't stand it. I can't stand when people are scrubbing my body. It makes me so angry.
How frequently has that happened to you in your life?
I'm almost positive, except for, I think for one ex of mine, every other one has scrubbed me because they don't believe I'm clean enough. Like, I don't know what
they're
it is.
right.
I don't know what it is about me that everyone's like, did you really scrub though? Like, yeah, people are always like, my partners have always groomed me because they're like, you don't do it well enough.
When I was a kid, I remember that like my mom would always make me like scrub under my fingernails when I washed my hands. Like I'd go to the bathroom and I'd have to use a brush and scrub under my nail. And I'm like, I just peed. Like, what am I doing?
Well, one thing that bothers me is like everyone agrees that you shouldn't wash your hair every day. So like every time I get in the shower, I just do a very light shampoo.
Yeah.
So like that balances it out.
It doesn't.
No, it does. So yeah, like I guess that's the problem is that I just don't spend enough time because I take like 45-second showers and I'm like
that's really short.
But I take them frequently and I soak in the tub a lot.
A couple times a day.
Yeah, because I work out.
Terrible.
Because I work outside, so like I just go in and hose off all the time.
That sounds so tedious. That sounds so like
no, I love
hate
it.
Doing this.
I love it because I get to change my socks and you constantly put on a fresh pair of clothes and you feel good and you are good and you eat good. If you mentally, what did Neon Dion say? He said something like, you eat good, you feel good.
You're talking about Deion
Sanders? You feel
Sanders?
good, you play good. And you play good, that means you're going to eat good.
And you're going to make a lot of money.
A lot of every day. Just every day. I think about what Neon Dion...
I like that you're still holding strong to the neon of it all.
That was his nickname, was it not?
Yeah, I mean...
Am I right? Who's got the whistle there, ref? Why don't you blow it if I'm wrong? Call me out on I don't know any football jargon.
No, you don't.
Penalty?
Yeah, I'm going to call him out on a penalty here.
You call me penalty boy.
You calling me out on a
roughing
penalty?
up the marks. I don't know. I have no idea.
Roughing up the marks?
Like the lines on the field. I'm roughing them up. Like, has anyone ever been on the field and they object to calls so they stomped real hard on the lines to try and mess them up so you can't see where they are? Has the whole football has
silly.
there ever been a football team who intentionally sent their coaches up and down the line, scraping the marks so you couldn't tell where the boundary line was?
No,
Has that ever happened?
But like shitty Steelers coach Mike Tomlin has like multiple times. Stepped in the way of people. Like, he's a piece of shit.
I actually just watched, because I binge YouTube, and like, so a top 10 anything.
Suggest shit.
Yeah, top 10 anythings for me.
Top 10 times Mike Tomlin was an asshole.
It's weird shit. It's like top 10 odd looking skeletons. I'm like, I gotta see this. Like, I gotta see what those weird skeletons look like. So like top 10 anything comes up. You're interested. I'll watch it. So it was like illegal moves or whatever, and it was people stepping in the way, and I'm like, that's so clever, because you just turn your back. I mean, you're gonna get fucking gored, but
no, man. So the thing of it is, the one with Mike Tomlin, and I'm sure that this is the one you saw, he's literally watching on the big screen in the stadium to see that he's in the way of the Ravens like punt returner who's going to get a touchdown if he's not standing there. Like, it's fucked up.
Well,
such a shitty dude.
It's a strategy, I guess.
Yeah, it's called cheating.
You know, well, I mean, here's the thing, is like, I hate in soccer, I can't stand offsides. I totally get why they do it. I hate offsides. I think it's the dumbest rule. I think you should totally be allowed to cherry pick down there. I don't see a problem with doing that. I think it's such a lawyeristic move. Like, nah, you're not allowed to go over that way right now. Not till we say, because they call it constantly. They're constantly stopping plays. And I don't know. Soccer needs to be more intense for me. It needs to be a little bit faster of a sport. So,
wow, you'd like it a little more American, is what you're saying? I don't know, man.
I have OCD, Zach. I don't have the
constant action. That's the problem, though. Like, it's for constant moving.
For some, I'm always sitting there.
That's your fault. Play it.
Watching it. Oh,
remember when we played soccer?
I don't think I have the knees for it.
No, man, I would die.
My knees, like, I jumped down. I'm working on the cabin, and I intentionally didn't put the 2 or 3 steps in yet, because I don't want people in there. So I just make it harder to get up and down in there. But I'm the one working in there, so it's really fucking wearing down my knees. And I just kind of hopped off, because I got a little step that I use when I'm going in there. I kind of just hopped off. I mean, 2-foot drop, and I was like, my body. It's not working out, but it's unlevel ground, so I did like land wrong and whatever, kind of fucking, I'm an idiot. But it was like, oh, this is not good. I'm only 36 and my body's giving out so hard.
Yeah.
I went to pull my leg up just to do a stretch the other day, because I haven't stretched in a while, and I'm like, wow, I am not elastic. My body has no memory of stretching. You have no
flexibility.
Oh, zero.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be able to tuck my palm, like bend over and tuck my palms underneath my feet. Now I'm like, oh,
that's insane.
You're not getting anywhere close to that, buddy.
Wow.
Like, your knees are bending no matter how far you're stretching. We're not going to straighten out for you.
Huh.
Yeah, I think
it's nice to know. You know, sometimes I like to think like, man, I'd be like, my knees wouldn't hurt. Like, I'd feel so much better if I wasn't such a fatty. And then I look at you and I'm like, oh no, he feels like shit too, and he's slim.
That's the thing.
I'm good.
Well, it's probably because I eat like shit. But one thing I will say is, like, I do get a shit ton of exercise because of how active I am and how much I do. And even like if I'm just on the property, like just getting things like building something or like moving the rocks around, I do
physical work a lot
of it. But yeah, I'm just constantly like fucking exhausted, and it's just got to be from my diet.
Yeah,
but yeah, so exercise is not everything. I do a shit ton of it.
Good stuff.
But
so
it was the same thing. The same thing like when I like cut out like drinking. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna feel so fucking much better. And besides waking up like not hungover, I'm like, I feel zero different.
You're like, really, no, I still eat 8 burgers like in a day.
Oh, I had to slow down on the burgers. That is the one nice part about living in the middle of nowhere, is I can't do.
You can't just zip out and get fast food.
Yeah, the 2 days a week I have to drive to a different city. That's when I'm like, I'm gonna eat some fucking shitty ass.
Oh, I'm gonna eat trash all day.
Yeah,
because that's what fuels you to get your work done.
Trash.
Yeah, like you're like the DeLorean in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, if you check the back of me, there's a flux capacitor and tramp stamp.
There should be.
And this is the gateway to time travel.
That's the tramp stamp that you should get, is the flux capacitor. Ooh, flux capacitor with like a traditional banner that says where we're going, we don't need routes.
It's got to be inverted though. So when someone's doing a flying 69 to me, well, actually it's a reverse flying 69. It's an inverted flying 69. Where they're eating my butt.
And you're just looking the other way. You're just being held up in the air, looking the other way, going, what's going on, guys?
Why is there guys? If there's guys, I'm not looking away. I'm looking right at it.
You don't know.
Jesus Christ. It got so much worse when he added the second guy. I'm sorry, the third guy. Oh man,
look, I've seen your fiance. She's not doing any inverted flying 69 on you. She's wayfish. She's not gonna hold you upside down and eat your ass, you freak.
Well, I assumed it was a dude. I was just hoping it'd be like, I don't know, what's his name?
No, it's that bronze. It's that bronze centaur statue of your soon-to-be brother-in-law.
Yeah,
that centaur brother,
half horseman.
Yeah, he's the one doing it.
Yeah, so many people. I love it because I walk out. I get a lot of packages delivered there, and a lot of people. I just walk out, and it's all the UPS delivery drivers or the Amazon. They're always taking pictures of it because I guess it's a big thing.
Yeah.
That they like. They're like, hey, look at what I saw today because they drive all around. So I just constantly walk out and people are just taking pictures of that thing.
Yeah. I did shit like that when I was a delivery driver for a couple of years. Like, you see something interesting, you take a picture of it.
It's just so strange to be out in the country when you're like, oh, no one should be here. We're way out here. Obviously, no one's going to be here. And then you just walk outside, there's paparazzi. Like, oh, yeah, let's get a good take of this one. That's all.
That's all.
Know what else is going on in my small
town?
town?
I would love to know. Tell me.
And the devil's there. Because besides the exorcist flies that I've been discussing, they're dealing in souls. I drove by the really poor town. I mean, like a fucking bomb went off. Poor, nothing. I went to the post office there once, and I'll never go back. It's terrifying. It's the postal office is just a fucking shack.
You can't even have butter there.
Yeah, it's weird. You just walk in the door, and then there's just the POs, and then just the shack where the guy's like, what do you need? Like, it's fucking weird post office. Anyway, there's a dilapidated building next door, and on the window written is for soul or trade. The house. SOLE, for soul or trade. And I'm like, man, who?
So they want some, like, wiki feet, like,
I've
soul
never
pics?
seen a house for trade, by the way.
Yeah.
I've seen cars. Hey, you want to trade some parts? What is it, this fucking house? What, do you have any old beef you want to get rid of? I'll give you this house for it.
You got a nice guitar?
Twice. It's on 2 different windows for soul. Someone didn't know how to spell sale, so they spelled it soul. Because it's sold. I don't know. Do you add the D when the buyers come through with this meat and they successfully did the trade, so then it's just sold?
Do you think it was like a kid who lives there who's like, I think we should move, so I'm going to put this sign up in the window?
I don't know, man. Fucking place is weird.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I think you should trade for it.
What happened to you?
Nothing. I think you should trade for it. You should give them your cabin. Or that second cabin that the Amish were going to build for you for free.
Oh, the one they were going to drop off?
Yeah.
I mean, I should have took the duplicate. I'd have to meet those dudes again. You know what I was thinking about, though? Speaking of my health and how bad it is. I made a joke. My sister's pregnant right now.
Sure.
And she was saying she had to go to the doctor.
Cooking up a little baby.
Yeah, the doctor, and they checked her, and they said she was okay. So I was like, well, how do you know? And they said, well, they checked my blood. I said, what did they do? They took a sip of it, and they're like, yeah, it's fine, it's good. So then, and it got me thinking, and I'm like, I think you can, like, taste people and figure out if they're good or not. Because sometimes I know. Stay with me.
I feel like this movie gave you some ideas.
No, stay with me. No, unrelated. Unrelated. No, sorry, unrelated. Because sometimes I notice that it's fun to pee through my fence.
Yeah.
And sometimes my dog loves me and comes over and checks it. And the other times I notice she runs away. So I'm thinking maybe
she ate a bunch of burgers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think she comes over and she's like, oh, you're not healthy today. I better run. Because maybe you're contagious and dying and I don't want to catch that. Another time she's like, oh, this is great. You're good. I love you. I think I'm like a dog whisperer when I pee on them. Like, when you pee.
What?
Yeah, you pee by a dog, and if it stays, like I think it's a thing that I have with my dog.
All right.
Because it's only the one dog that does it.
Yeah.
Are you not seeing what I'm trying to talk about?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't get it.
We have a bond.
Oh, okay.
My dog checks on me to check my health.
James Bond. I get it. I don't get it.
We're just going to crap all over my thoughts.
No, I don't get it.
Well, moving on then.
Okay,
I don't
move
have
on
anything
then.
else. I don't have anything else.
You know any fast food stories? You know what you told me the other day is that you have like a note on your phone that has like all these stories that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
and you just don't get to most of them, so they just disappear into the ether, and you don't even remember them.
Yeah, because I jot it down real fast, and I can't recite the whole thing, or else I'm just gonna not be interested in what the story actually is. So I have to read the whole thing. So I just do the highlights,
like
of
a
it.
key.
But then sometimes I forget how they correspond with one another, so I give up.
So I think for a bonus episode, we should go through those and try to figure out what they mean.
Oh, like we stare at them and then come up with
we talk about
scenarios.
like what could this be and
just like
try to figure out what it meant.
That's just us brainstorming new ideas. I think that's just us brainstorming movie ideas while the audience, if there is any, listens. Because at some point they're going to turn
people
up.
Can listen to this?
I just don't think after last episode that they're going to listen to you anymore because you've given up on life.
I hated that one so much.
And I did great, if I'm being honest.
You know what? I think that movie reminded me, it was almost like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, where it's like, I watched that movie because it was on How Did This Get Made, and I thought, this sounds crazy, I'll watch it. But it wasn't even like fun bad. It was just boring. Like, it just was not interesting. Like, it was not funny, and it wasn't like so crazy that it was funny. Like, it did nothing.
Like watching Erosion.
Ugh.
Actually, Erosion's cool as fuck.
Yeah, I'd watch the shit out of that.
You know what's crazy?
Especially with a nice narrator. Ooh.
When you sandblast something.
Yeah.
That's like rapid erosion, if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, same with pressure washing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I like watching. I just misspoke.
I watch pressure washing a lot.
Super neat. When I was pressure washing that dirt.
Yeah.
It's like a trance, dude. Like, I feel...
When did Matthew McConaughey get here?
I feel like I need pot. I need to give the audience pot, and they'll be like, you're right. Like, I don't know if everyone is euphoric as me all the time.
No, that'd be bad.
I'm like, I don't know. Just call me Active Jack.
Okay.
Active Jack's
going to call you.
Active Jack was at my kid's soccer game. This one dad just kept going like to the other team. She kept going, you gotta be active, Jack. You gotta be active, Jack. Active Jack. Active Jack. So I just started going like, Active Jack. Active Jack. Like, I was thinking about I guess he'd be a superhero, but really he's like a motivational speaker, I think, where everyone's like, Active Jack.
No, I think he's one of those like sex robots from AI.
What do you mean?
Active Jack.
Would you ever want to fuck a guy named Jack?
No.
Like, Jack is always, besides Jack Sparrow, Jack is always an old man, right? That's kind of like...
No, like, or a young boy.
Because you have some kind of name.
Like, and the Beanstalk.
You have a name like Jay or something like that. And then once you get to like 65 or maybe 72, you just become Jack.
Yeah, you're like John. You're like John most. You're Johnny when you're a kid,
and then the name evolves.
Yeah, and then eventually you're like Jack Stanley. Good to know you, brother.
Yeah, it's like how I just referenced my son. It's like how he's Andy now. When he's an adult, he'll have to become Andrew. Like the name evolved, like John to Jonathan, and then
I don't know because he was Andrew for a long time.
No, it's Jonathan to John to Jack.
And then he decided he wanted to be Andy.
Well, he's doing it reverse. He's got a Benjamin Button.
That he might become Drew.
No, we won't allow it. His mother and I will put our feet down. We'll put like one. I'll put my left, and she'll put her right, and then everyone will be like, "You got backwards feet!" And then fucking blinds will blow up.
Blinds will blow up.
Yeah, because if you put a left, hang on, stay with me. You put my left.
I got you
next to her right, and then our legs are split. So you can't even see us. We're just like, okay, we get a dummy.
We chop your legs off.
We get a dummy that's got no feet.
Okay.
And we put our feet in the place, but they're backwards, and everyone will be like, that guy's got wrong feet.
That dummy's got wrong feet. They're tap dancing.
I gotta get a hold of my kid's mom and be like, hey, I need your foot. Can't explain to you why.
You can't ask questions. I just need your foot.
Also, I don't think I should be in charge of our kid anymore with these ideas.
I may be doing more harm than good.
Yeah, I'll give up my rights to our kid, but you got to do this.
Yeah, we're going to put our feet down.
I want to explain to you why. And then I keep the profits.
There's no profits. You lose money.
People they'll throw flowers and their own children. Oh, I'll get more kids. I give up this one kid. It's an investment kid. And I get all the kids back. That's the return.
Investment kid. That's smart. Good stuff.
This is finance. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't understand.
I would not underget it. I never would. I never will.
You're not going to underget what I'm talking about here.
Oh, man.
What else did you do? I went trick-or-treating the other day.
Yeah.
I was staring. We went by my old houses. They were like right next to each other. I was staring at my old house, and I was like, oh, shit. I forgot about the time I was smoking a bong out the window because we didn't want to get the smell of the bong in the house because my parents were downstairs. So me and my friend Rick were hanging out my window, like of the front of the house.
Yeah, that's the front of the house.
Hanging out my window smoking a bong. And we're giggling and laughing like you do when you smoke a bong. And we looked across the street and we see my neighbor on his porch on the phone. And we're like, oh, shit. So we jump back in and I'm like, how would you like to be the neighbor on the phone going, yeah, I'm outside. Yeah, my neighbor's kids are smoking a bong outside the window.
No, I imagine
Oh, no, they think they're slick, and I didn't just see them giggling and laughing, smoking a giant bong out of the window.
No, I imagine him on the phone with your parents, Jeff.
Hey.
Chris, your son's smoking a bong out the window.
He really thinks
no,
he's getting
not
away.
that one. The other one.
What, son or window?
Son.
Yeah, I was the same house on the other window because I had the corner bedroom. The other window on the carport. My dad was like, "Hey, Chris, you growing weed?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Really? You're not growing weed right outside your window because there's literally a weed plant you can see from the street growing outside your window in a pot. Is that you?" I was like, "No, not me." He goes, "All right, I guess it's your brother." I don't know why he thought I wasn't going to see that weed plant. So apparently he pulls it in. It's a giant fucking pot plant sitting outside my window by the chimney. He's like, "Hey, the dead giveaway was the big weed plant sitting outside."
Hang on.
Such a fucking dumbass.
Did you try to grow a weed plant, or did your brother put it outside your window?
No, that was him. I was growing my weed in the park close by, like a fucking human does. I put it in a fucking 5-gallon bucket and pulled it up into a tree so people wouldn't find it.
That's
and
smart.
Grow it up there, like a reasonable person, not just out, like not lazy,
not
outside
like an idiot.
I just love he did it outside my window
because he thought that
his response was. Well, you got the side that's got the carport. I'm like, oh, yeah, totally. I'm like, my bad. I'm like, had I had a carport, I would have grown the weed out my window. But why didn't he just do what I did? Just kind of put a rope outside and dangle it and then just hope everyone didn't see it.
Because they'd still see it. It's so dumb.
Of the fucking window. This just reminded me of our other friend, who was like, my neighbor that I smoke pot with and apparently do heroin with, by the way. My neighbor's growing weed outside his house. He goes, he's got it in this secret spot. I was like, cool. We went over, looked at it. It was just behind like a cypress tree. Like it was definitely a weed plant growing around it because it was a completely different shade of green growing around this basically tiny Christmas tree. He goes, yeah, but you don't even notice it because you just think it's a tree. I said, nah. I noticed it because there's a giant weed plant behind that tree that looks nothing like that tree. He goes, oh, well, no one else would. I said, nah.
No, they would.
Pretty sure they would because of the smell of the weed. Fucking dumbass. Everyone that grows weed is just a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Do you remember when you grew weed at work?
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to get it out of there.
I was running through the building
with my 4 pot
plants.
With pot plants, trying to stay in the camera blind spots that you knew about because you were the janitor.
Yeah, and I trimmed them in the Sunday school classroom. Man, talk about fucking being in trouble. Like, all the things together you shouldn't do, I did. But I did have to run down the hallway through the blind spots with those in garbage bags. Yeah, it's fucking... I wish there was security video of me doing that. That would have been fucking well worth it. And it was headache weed, too, because I just like grew them from whatever seeds I have, so they weren't good strands. And every time I'd smoke it, I'd get headache, but I'd rather have a headache than be sober.
Than not be high.
Than not be high. So I just, smoked that shitty weed.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe it's because they were cursed.
Yeah.
I think the problem was I probably planted them on an old Indian burial ground.
No, you planted them
in the woods.
In the woods behind a synagogue.
In a different woods. Well, it was technically there. So yeah. We talk about this movie.
Yeah, man. Get to it.
All right. Perfume.
This is Perfume, the Story of a Murder from 2006, directed by Tom Tykwer, starring Ben Whishaw, Dustin Hoffman, and Alan Rickman.
Okay. John Baptiste. I'm not going to try the last name.
Grenouille.
John Baptiste got a good nose. The smell's the crime, which is him, the criminal. A criminal, and he kills and sniffs people. France.
Did Mike Myers' character from So I Married an Axe Murderer write that?
I'm glad you caught what I was trying to do.
I know exactly what you were doing.
Okay. I was trying spoken word. How to do?
I mean,
how to do?
The smell's the crime. He, the criminal.
The crime, the criminal, him. I did mean to. The France was an accident. I meant to put that in there.
France.
I wrote France at the end, and it literally says improv this.
France.
I didn't.
You did it.
I didn't improv the France.
France.
Why would I write a note at the end? Like
that's a great point.
If I were a news broadcaster, I'd be like, you don't put the notes at the end. I'll just read them. You're gonna be mad at myself on this. It's upsetting. You know how scary a 19th century mob would be? Like,
oh, yeah.
Good God. They would just rip you apart. I mean, much like they do in the movie.
Yeah.
But, man, the whole opening of this movie, I was like, that's tense. I don't remember, because I haven't seen this in years.
Yeah.
And I love it, but I was watching the intro, and I'm like, man, this is fucking great. Like, the anticipation you see, and then even the guards who were freaked out, like, we can't hold these people back, and they're just going to kill everyone. Because you feel how excited they got when they said he would get 12 lashings with the iron rod.
Yeah.
Like, good God, once they said in the hips, I'm like, man, can you imagine getting your hips broken? Like, that would, ugh. It's gross to think about.
Yeah.
How long do you think you'd live?
All your 45
broken.
minutes.
I think you would. I'm pretty sure I would pass out. I'm not good with pain.
Yeah.
So the moment they were like the sentencing, I would just die. I think I'd be like, oh, like,
well, he does get hung
scary.
afterwards. That's what they said.
Yeah, but if they don't hang him, they just have his,
But if they don't hang him,
but they just got his.
And you crossed your arms.
They just got his jelly body with shards of bone. His bones. Shivers. I don't know what I was gonna say.
I could tell.
Shivers of
slivers.
Oh, yeah.
Slivers. Not burr. Not shivers.
No, when the audience feels the shivers of the slivers of bone, marrow, glands.
Woman.
Yeah. All right, you do stuff now.
I can laugh more about that movie now that we're done talking about it.
Man, would you like to just have to tell that story to the townsmen? Like when you eventually go back in the town, like remember that time we all got perfume drunk and had the town orgy?
No, they don't know they got perfume drunk. They think they saw an angel.
Yeah. What they saw the angel too, or was that the end they saw?
No, they all did because someone else said he was an angel.
Oh, okay.
They said he was innocent, and then he did another drop, and they said he was an angel.
I like the guy who got tortured
horny.
for 14 hours who stood in his place because they just needed a scapegoat.
They needed something.
And then they just hung him.
I mean, been that angel
because obviously there's no good qualities or redeeming factors of what he did. But like anything in the story that's righteous.
Yeah.
But that guy didn't deserve it. He was an asshole, but he really didn't deserve to have that done.
No.
Because they used him as if we're like, oh, well, that's fine because he was a dick.
Him then.
But really, you're like, oh, he's kind of,
No, anyone who walks away like thinking that like Jean-Baptiste Grenouille should have been like, shouldn't have been killed is like not getting it.
It is crazy because I know what this movie's about, and it wasn't until like towards the end I'm like, this is crazy demonic. That he's trying to turn young women into saints. I'm like, that's a crazy idea.
That's something you would come up with.
Me? No.
It is.
No.
It really is.
No, I'm not that dark.
No,
because
you kind of are.
I was thinking about it because I took out the emotion of it and was like, oh, he's killing these women because he has this goal. But then when you start thinking about it, I'm like, oh, no, but then he carries them around so he can smell them. You're like, oh, man, that's way dark.
The thing for me, though, is like the thing that I would justify his like actions is like, well, he's not trying to kill most of these women at first. Like if they would just let him like get their scent, it would be they would be fine. Like,
oh, that's true.
And then he's like, nope, got to kill you because you're not going to let me do this.
That one whore.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
She's the one.
Up the Christmas. Oh, I look like a Christmas goose.
Yeah, she did say that.
I did. I love that she said. But yeah, I mean, as a prostitute, you have to be alarmed for your Johns that pull out knives. I mean, she was right to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Would you
make a perfume out of women? No.
I was going to say,
probably not.
I knew the answer. I was going to say, would you have sex with a prostitute? Not now, in the 19th century. Would you have sex with a prostitute?
No.
Really?
I'm a poor person. I can't afford a prostitute. What do you mean?
Fucking, oh my God. The filth that they had. Like all those people, like not just the fish market, just in general, all those people.
Yeah.
Besides the elite, oh my God, I kept thinking about like their fucking filthy ass hands, like just touching me. Oh, when he puts the leather maker, the tanner, or whatever his name was, when he puts his finger in the kid's mouth, I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine how dirty it would be to get fingered by some dude? Oh,
yeah,
I do not like dirty hands.
Yeah,
I don't know what
you
it is
got
about
them a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with it. They're mine. Like, but other hands other than mine. Like if you I think even me, if I put my hand, let's say I have we have the body bag that has no feet. It's got two wrong feet now, but it's got no hands. Even if I put my hands in there and somehow touched my face, I'd be freaked out.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how I would do that because I'd be putting my hands in there.
Because you'd be like, these look like my hands, but they're on this dummy.
Let's say that we have my clone.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be me, it'd be my clone. I don't know how to do this, but I hate filthy hands.
Yeah. No, I got it. I understood.
Well, I wanted you to get it.
You didn't have to come up with some weird, perverse analogy where you like...
Well, I didn't want to pay all the money for the dummy and then not use it and just use it the one time.
Yeah, but you didn't. You got it for free.
Right.
Because it was imaginary.
Oh. Well, I had to stay alive to think of it, which cost money because I had to eat food.
So what do you think about... When you think about babies getting left at orphanages in the rain?
Whatever.
It happens, like, that's the only time babies ever get left at orphanages in movies, right?
Yeah, like, if you have a kid and you're like, oh, my baby, and it starts raining, you're like, oh, bad.
You're like, I better get rid of this thing while it's raining.
That's a bad omen. Yeah, that's how it happens.
Huh.
Or, you know what it is? It's the stork flying the baby, and it's like, oh, I didn't weatherproof my wings today, so I better just make this a short trip to my orphanage. That's only half the distance.
That sounds right.
I could see you being the lazy stork. Who just says they're delivering the babies, but really taking them to the fucking orphanage, so you could go.
God,
so you could go home and rest.
I just need rest. Like, what's wrong with that? I work hard as a stork.
Like, imagine you as a stork with a little cap, like cab driver cap, like the Disney one.
My wife referred to that. Her best friend's husband was wearing one of those hats in like a photo on Instagram, and she could not remember what it was called. And she told me that he was wearing a punk beret.
Okay.
And I was like, that's a good description of it.
I mean, what are they called?
It's a cabbie hat. You're exactly
did I get it right? Oh,
that's what I know it as.
Oh, okay.
But she called it a punk beret, and I thought that was wonderful.
I can see that. Yeah. So we might as well jump into this.
Let's jump.
That's the great-grandfather of Severus Snape. Is that what we're going with? Because after this, he vows to get revenge, so he has to teach himself the dark arts. That's how he learns magic.
Well...
To get back at this muggle.
The thing about that is that...
And then he was like...
Snape's father is not a wizard.
There it is. That's how he wants to learn magic, so he finds out about the secret realm of magicians.
He marries a witch.
And then marries her, yeah. That's what I said. It's tied in to the universe.
All right.
Checking your pulse over there on your belly. What are you doing a belly check? You're like tapping it to make sure that your belly's still alive.
Still there?
Because it wasn't, because it grumbles so much, it stopped and you got concerned and checked its pulse.
No. So
what were those fruits? Were they yellow tomatoes?
I don't know. I thought they were maybe plums. They looked like stone fruit. They looked like they had a pit.
No.
Yeah, they look like they had a pit.
But why was she cutting them up? Like, what? It was the end of her shift.
I don't know. To make a pie.
She went down into Lonesome and just cut them in half, but she was cleaving them all in two and then just sat there.
Yeah.
She's like,
they're all going in a basket. She was still working on them. She had a knife in her hand.
But who wants to buy a cut fruit?
It's a pie. She's probably making a pie.
Because, like, if you see a
the fruit's gonna go
a
bad.
watermelon at the store, you're like, oh, eat that. When you see the cut one, you're like, oh, it's aged.
No, sometimes you're just like, oh, I want like I don't want a whole watermelon because I'm not having like a big barbecue, but like I'd like some watermelon.
Just get a mini watermelon.
Well, they don't have them.
Who?
The hypothetical store that we're talking about.
I was gonna say I see them all the time, dude. They got them. Don't worry.
So I think.
Do you?
One of the cool things about this movie, one of the things that I think really works for it, is the like fairy tale nature of it, and that's like the narration, the like extraordinary circumstances of his birth and his life, even though like he from the very beginning gets his mother killed and then lives in squalor
and he gets everyone killed. Yeah,
that's the thing, and that's something that I noticed. He doesn't. It's not that he gets everyone killed. It's everybody who tries to benefit from him has like
only. Yeah, exactly. But only the creators or the perfumists die happy because Dustin Hoffman dies happy.
He dies happy, but because everyone's trying to exploit him, but they just ended up doing it by, I don't know.
Ways.
I don't know, but I guess like when the woman from the orphanage sells him to the tannery gets killed right away, like she's like, I have no more use for this kid. I'm gonna make some money off him. Bye. And then when the tanner sells him to Dustin Hoffman, he gets a lot of money and it's like, great, this is awesome. Like, he was gonna be used up soon anyway because they said
5 years.
And so then Dustin Hoffman, provides some benefit to him. He teaches him
creates
things.
Him a lot of benefit.
He helps him.
He changes his life.
And so then he says, but before you leave, you have to give me 100 recipes, Yeah.
And it's more of a trade.
So he still benefits off it.
Because once again, I don't really see it as he takes advantage of it because it's a bargain.
It's not taking advantage. That's true. But like, he obviously is going to like benefit from it in the way of like, oh, people are going to think that I'm coming up with these.
They had that line where John's like, I could have given him 1,000. I give him 100, but I could have given him 1,000. Yeah. So he's like, once again, it's like it's nothing to him.
Exactly.
So it's a change. It's not even a change in his life. It's his goal in life that this guy is giving him in exchange for pennies on the dollar. Is what he's saying.
Yeah, basically.
So once again, he made out more than Dustin Hoffman.
But everyone who tries to benefit from him in one way or the other
dies.
Yeah, has like
I do love the ending of this movie where it wants to say he couldn't find real love, so fuck it. Like that's basically what the movie is saying at the end, but fuck it.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't understand. What's funny though is like if he had grown up differently and like met a girl and talked to her and done all that stuff, like
he would have been a weirdo.
He would have been a weirdo, but I'm saying, like, if he had been able to have, like, some sort of, like, romantic relationship with a girl, I think this whole thing changes. Because, like, his whole thing is, like, he wants to be able to preserve smells, but, like...
Well, I think it talks about... it kind of touches on suppression in itself, like sexual suppression. It's that he doesn't know how to do this, so he does it in a destructive... Forgive me. He acts on these urges in a destructive, harmful way. Yeah. That's what it is. Like he wants to encapsulate this woman because he's infatuated with her. He doesn't know how to do it, so his impulses are, what do I know? Yeah. Which, had they been honed or not exploited,
I think
or
if he'd been broadened a little,
explained, then yeah, he might have been more healthy. But that's the issue here. He kind of already was a strange character.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and the whole thing is like, with him being born with such an abnormally strong sense of smell, and that's what ultimately keeps him alive.
And that's the thing is like
drives him.
He is around all this apathy constantly. So maybe you have a good point that perhaps it would have been entirely different had it not just been used to people like that. And the orphanage probably didn't even have a name or How did he get his name?
I don't know. I think they just named him. I don't know.
Well, anyway, just the severe apathy of we don't care about you, you're a slave to us, and people don't have feelings towards another.
Yeah, so it is this like brutal time, that like
because there's no remorse at all in what he did.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess he does think back on his first kill, which was accidental. He didn't know he was.
Yeah, he was just trying to keep her quiet because he wanted to smell her more, which is weird.
How do you meet women? You smell their belly button, and you just like kind of like. As the rain's hitting them, you're like, oh, shit, I can't smell it as much.
You got to pull up all that smell.
You got to pull up the stink.
Yeah.
Which is why I was in France, the stinkiest of all people.
Yeah, in the 1700s.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's debatable.
It isn't.
Yeah.
They say what year it was.
What year?
It was like 1730 something.
It was 18. So.
It wasn't.
I think it was.
It wasn't.
It might have been 19, Zach.
Let's just look.
Because you don't know, and I know. So
you don't know. I just told you.
And you don't trust me because you were born in that orphanage, the fish orphanage, where your mother was hung. So
she was.
Do you want to talk about that? Have we finally got to a place in the show where we can talk about how you killed your poor mother?
Have we finally got to the place?
Listen, I talk fast, I think fast, I move fast, unless my knees are involved.
I learned how to do this in Italy, where I was born.
Oh, grazie. He kept not putting the fucking D on bastard. It was pissing me off. Bastard! Bastard!
No, that's not what he's saying. It's like I think he's saying basta, which is like Italian
for stop.
That's what I took it.
Bastard. It's the same thing. When you want to say, you bastard!
Stop, you bastard!
Stop it, you bastard!
You sick bastard!
I'm confused by the original transaction with Dustin Hoffman because I guess he just can't handle it, which is why he sends him away after he makes that beautiful potion that makes him think of when he got laid that one time. It's funny how you can summarize such beauty and brilliance into that one time he fucked.
I mean,
I love how like his wife is only shown in bed. Like they don't really talk about her
No, she
at
comes
all.
to him. She's the one who brings him the like.
Oh,
the
that's
napkins.
Not the maid.
I think that's his wife.
When he's like, I need inspiration, and you really think that when she grabs his head, she's gonna stick his head in her breasts that are showing. Like I was like, that would have been a good scene because then his white makeup would have been stuck on there, like like it looked like the Joker.
Yeah, dude, that white makeup
motorboated.
Huh? You're just so classy, That's what I really.
Well, I like to deconstruct classy movies and make them my own.
Yes. Classy, make them your own.
Man, his whole inspiration for a while was to become a bear. Like he leaves the city to go to Green, but then he just lives in a cave for a while instead. Because he's like, oh, he really found himself.
Smells
like, okay.
nothing.
And then he opens his eye, and you're like, oh, 6 months has passed that you've been
a long time you've been
living in that cave.
Dude.
Yeah, so I was like, it's just Bear Man.
Yeah, I always forget. I forget about that part where he's in the cave.
Because for a minute, I'm like, well, it's probably a long journey, so maybe that was, a different cave. And I'm like, well, why does he keep sleeping in caves? So either way, he just becomes a bear. Like his instincts are, just like bear. They smell things. They smell the salmon in the river, and they kill and embalm and pay prostitutes to put wax on them. I think that animal fat has a smell, by the way. I don't know why they're using animal fat.
I don't think it does, actually.
What about the claws he used to swiffer the cologne or the perfume, the movie perfume? Like, do they have to destroy those afterwards because they have the smell on them, or can you wash that smell off? You think someone who's a purist of scent?
No, because he hasn't distilled it yet. It's not.
No, I'm saying when he does that perfume where Dustin Hoffman's up there he's like, I want to be alone, and he keeps bringing up he's like wafting the smell.
Yeah.
Do you think that holds the smell forever? So you have to destroy those pieces of cloth?
I think for Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, yes. But for other people, no.
I'm saying Dustin Hoffman, especially. Do you think he does?
I think he can. I think you can wash them.
Because those look like silk. I'm like, man, that'd be expensive.
Yeah, it would be
for every waft.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Oh, you know what though? Then you just use it for something else. That's the original recycling.
Yeah.
So then he could
sell them. Use it to like clean.
He could sell them as like Lysol wipes. He's like, this is a nice little scent. You clean your udders with them.
Do you want to make...
Speaking of udders, did you see that when he hit the girl that was milking the cow, her face drug across the udder when she fell over? I was like, ew. So that really happened on set where the girl went for the scene and just drug her face down the cow tit.
I heard that she came up with that. That was her idea.
I heard, like, if you look real close, like, she's like, she, like, pops one in real fast.
These little couches.
That's why her smell was the sourest, because the cow had gotten into cabbage.
I think that's why it was the juiciest.
That was so gross. Or that udder was so big, she couldn't help it. The director was like, great take. Let's get a couple more of those. Can you imagine a cow's udder on your face? So disgusting.
I don't think it's as disgusting as licking some poop on your mustache.
Well, that's just not a choice.
I'm gonna keep bringing it up.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it happens.
Happens to all of us.
To the best of us, really. Well, you never eaten ass?
Never licked
A
poop
filthy
off
one?
a mustache.
You never had a man pick you up in an inverted 69 and then realize that the other man had turned around on you and you weren't ready?
And then you go time traveling because he's got a flux capacitor.
Then they
that?
launch you 88 miles an hour and you transport your ass on out of there.
Yeah, but you land in the 50s and they're like, oh no, this isn't okay in the 50s.
No, then their great-great-grandparents do the same thing back to you because they're perverts as well.
What do you mean they? You're talking about you.
What do you mean? No, I'm just the time traveler. I just am the conductor.
Oh, you're the DeLorean. You don't involve yourself at all.
I am much like the wand in an orchestra.
You choose
People
the wizard.
Are using
That's
me
called a baton.
and losing me.
You just said that because it rhymes.
That's why I say most things.
Yeah.
You had to win it to win it.
What?
So what is it?
So
Go on.
So this movie
Look out that window, my fellow Pindo.
Okay. So this movie is about a guy who can smell real good and wants to learn how to make perfume. And then Dustin Hoffman's like, hey, there's 12 different things in the perfume.
He's Fonzie.
He is. He's like, but if you get one, he's like, basta! No, but if you really want to do it right, you need 13.
Yeah.
And so he goes on a quest to like murder 13 women.
Yeah. Did he count the whore?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah, I think
Did
so.
that one count? In the vial?
I think the one that didn't count is
I
the
thought
one.
he was still experimenting. I don't think that one counted because he lined them up afterwards, but he never filled one up.
No, I think he did. But I think the one that didn't count was the woman he found in the barn, and he threw her in the distiller.
Well, that didn't work.
Yeah, that didn't work. So that one didn't count.
Hey, here's a question.
Yeah.
It was a technical question.
Okay.
The twins doesn't make sense because he only has equipment to do one at a time, and by the time he gets done, with the first twin, the other one's body probably expired. Like, I don't think you could keep the scent and the fat that long. What I'm saying is, I don't think you can do two at once.
No, you can. I think so.
Huh? That's the only one. The only problem I had with this movie was like, I don't think they thought that out.
You mean Albine and Francois?
Yeah.
I just kept yelling for him in that maze.
Yeah. It's a cool maze though.
I did like. I think that they in this movie they do the like tension really well.
Oh, when
where
he's
like they're
him?
missing.
Well, you're like, I know that's John Baptiste running towards her, or about to run towards her, but you're like, I can't tell what it is. So even when he's running, you're like, God, he's so gangly and creepy.
Yeah.
He looks like Gollum in the boat.
You?
Me?
That's you.
I'm John Baptist.
You're like, these rocks are my precious.
I'm very Aryan, like John the Baptist in that movie.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
of Nazareth, who's white.
You said my perfume would be ready today.
Joseph,
there's only 8 dead women. How are you to make this orgy perfume without 5 more dead women?
I probably wasn't paying attention. Did he mix all the women at the end?
Yeah.
Is that what the scent was?
Yeah, it's all of them.
Nice.
But it's in like very
do
specific.
you think he could smell their what do you call it?
You gonna make a Miggs reference?
No, you're a virgin. What do you call it? Their
I don't know what you're talking
tranquility or what's it
called?
called?
Their tranquility.
What's their innocence?
So you
think you can smell their innocence, and that's how he found the virgins? Because what if one had a romp with an uncle?
If he met you, he would be able to smell that tattoo on your stomach. Because it says tranquility.
Or he could. Oh yeah.
Because you're a fucking weird hippie.
That's weird that I got that.
I was with you.
Huh. No one ever stopped me. I don't like you're a bad person because you never stop me when I do things. Like
so,
you never like, hey, I don't think anyone should do this.
I dated a girl a long time ago, and she got a tattoo, and I told her that's stupid.
Yeah.
Which I know now.
I don't know, man. I can't help but tell people ideas are bad. Not even just tattoos. I just love to tell people things are dumb.
If you tell them before they get it, that's fine. If someone has put permanent ink on their body.
You tell me I have dumb tattoos all the time. Don't act like you learned a lesson.
You got a tattoo that I drew. That was dumb.
Yeah,
it's bad.
That's a dumb one too.
I did bad. It's a bad job.
You're a bad boy.
Oh. Oh.
So if Dustin Hoffman and John, who would you be? Would you be Dustin?
I hope not.
No, or John. You have to be one of the two.
Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, it's me and you. Which one would be which?
I'd be Jean-Baptiste because I can smell things real good.
Yeah, and that's true. And I can't.
Yeah.
And I would take advantage of you. But also, I'd be dressed like an elitist.
But the problem, you'd have that makeup and that wig.
I'd be motorboating my big old boobed wife.
But the problem though is like I'd be able to smell real good, and you'd be like, I'm gonna take advantage, and then you'd forget that I'm like a doofus and can't actually do anything. So like,
yeah, you'd be brave.
I'd give you bad perfumes.
Man, when you're watching them take the 10,000 roses to make the 1 ounce of essential oil, then you look back at that clip when he's just throwing those jars around. You're like, man, I don't think he would allow a stranger to.
He's not throwing the oils around. Those are the ones that he made. Those are the ones that he tried to distill the scent out of, like the fucking copper or glass. Or
No. In the beginning, when he's impressing Dustin.
Oh, right.
I'm not throwing them like.
Yeah, no, but he's just grabbing them.
He's moving real fast. Like, and once again, so you think about how much money that is for that just one big vial, and you're like, yeah, I don't think that would have happened.
Well, he does mention, like, you think I'm going to just let you play in my laboratory for a fortune or the essential oils?
But then he does.
And then he does.
But that's the thing. But I think the outrage.
But I think part of that is that's how like desperate Dustin Hoffman is to be relevant again. You know, he's in a position right now where he's no one comes to him. There's this like hot new perfumer who's like burning up the charts, and he wants to get back out there and make a splash. And this guy...
Is that a joke about how he fell into the ocean or the river?
No. But I do love that bridge. I think that's really cool with all the houses built up on it. Mm-hmm. And when I was watching it, I kind of remembered it as like the bridge collapsed.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I kind of remembered it as the bridge collapsed, but then it's just his house. And you're like, oh, damn.
I mean, a cooler. But I don't get the basement on that bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in the bridge. It's part of the like foundation of it. I don't know.
No,
is the answer.
That's not how.
The answer is I don't know.
Well, I do.
Oh, hey, you know what? Speaking of bridges,
you burn some?
No, I've got an answer for you.
Ooh.
The Golden Gate Bridge is the bridge over the Golden Gate the Golden Gate Strait, which is the bit of water connecting the bay to the Pacific Ocean. So the bridge is named after the body of water it's going across. It doesn't have anything to do with being golden or the color of the bridge. It could be brown, you know?
Sure. I don't know what you're talking about.
You said, why isn't the Golden Gate Bridge gold? Why is it red?
I don't care what color it is.
You care so goddamn much.
That means nothing to me.
That's because you're dumb and you don't remember things.
No,
but
we're talking about France.
No.
Paris.
Provence.
I one more thing before we get into tropes.
Yeah.
No one goes into the fucking hay barn if you're not gonna fuck. So when she was like, I'm not in the mood, you're like, then why the fuck did we take our break here in the hay if you're not gonna fuck me right now? That I totally get. Like, he was a dick move taking the ladder down, but still, Why would you? She's a tease.
I think she was just
stupid tease.
I think she just wanted to get him ramped up because she was gonna like fuck him later, like another time, but she wasn't ready yet. But it was like, let's go fuck around a little bit. But like,
I mean, you only got so much time back then. You'd die any second.
Well,
she had a murder on the loose.
She did. She didn't even turn into that orgy perfume.
So like,
she was useless.
So because he didn't rape them too, you think did he crank off ever?
No, I don't think. I think if he had cranked off ever, he wouldn't have murdered anyone. He would have been like, "Oh shit, this is just as good as smelling people."
It would have been to that dead cat.
No, he'd be like, "This is just as good as smelling people."
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, maybe that's how. Maybe it's better. Maybe smelling people is better. I've been doing it wrong because I don't have good smell
Let me
or
smell
hearing.
You.
I really don't have good either one, and that makes me mad.
That's true.
That's why I kill.
That's why I killed all those Amish.
Help us. Let's go into these tropes.
Okay, let's talk about them.
I'm excited about these ones. Hot dog fingies. Yes, his nose.
I said
a distinct feature.
I said yes because he's turning them into perfume. That's his signature.
Okay.
He's distilling their essence. Like, yes is the answer. Yeah. Yes.
I just had a different view on it.
Yeah, but it's the same.
Letter.
I said no.
Yeah, no, because it wasn't from him to someone. There is a letter he carries, and sometimes I just look for.
Well, that's his like professional papers. That's his like journeyman's papers. Yeah, that says he can like work. So I don't. That's like saying like a work permit, but he didn't write that. He didn't send it to anyone.
I don't think he can write Zach.
Maybe. Abduction/kidnapping. Yes.
Yeah. Because he
the
takes
twins.
them for a while.
Albine, Francoise. They just said those names so many times in that like 90-second period.
I love Alan Rickman in this movie.
He's weird.
He does so well. I love how there's that gathering, that little party, and the guy's like, "What a lovely party." Fucking dummy.
I like when he says, "Blow out the candles. The flowers will melt." Flowers can't melt. These can. And then he takes a bite, which, like, if you watch him, it's like, oh, he clearly took that bite and then spit it out the second they cut. Yeah. Like, the way he bites it is like,
he holds it in his mouth for a minute.
And then, like, looks like,
am I done?
Is that the shit?
I'm pretty sure it's made of wax.
It looks like it's made out of icing.
No, I think it's actually made out of wax. And the guy, the host, makes a fatal mistake. And he doesn't realize that that's wax. So he takes a bite like, chicken.
Blow out the candles. Yeah, that's good.
Panic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one guy shoots a servant.
Dude, everyone keeps shooting each other. They hand out guns and then everyone shoots each other.
The guy brings in the hair for a wig and gets beat to death.
Yep.
Murder.
You want my hair, do you? Oh, man. That's pretty good.
Insanity. It's just kind of a perv.
No. Let me tell you. Alan Rickman says he when he's like with like the judges or whatever, he calls it an insane scheme. And that's all I needed to check off insanity. He called it insane.
I do love that he was the only one speaking logically. Like he's trying to catch something to keep it. And
I love when they're like, what if we excommunicated him from the church? You're like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
And Alan Rickman's like, who cares? And they're like, do you not have any faith in the Lord? And he's like, it's not about that. Yeah, they're getting murdered.
Stupid.
I love his reactions.
Yeah, I do love something about the church, and then you see the nun die. You're like,
yeah. Then the nun gets
that nun taken. Was attractive.
Yeah, they all were.
There's something about a woman without her hair. I'm like, I'm into that.
You like a buzzed head?
And dead. but a dead woman who's been turned into a perfume.
Let me just call your fiance real quick. Tell her not to come back for you.
I told her, I'm like, you can shave your head. She'd be cute as shit.
Yeah, but you said dead.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Unleash the Hounds, number 6. Killer Nights community search for him. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't answer that one. Yeah, well, who was the Hounds be?
That's the community.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman is doing it.
He's driving it. You know what it was? I was waiting on to see if they actually used dogs. That's
that would have been cool.
I wanted actual hounds.
Yeah. No, not in this one. 7, uncertain fate, ambiguous ending. I mean,
kind of.
I
guess the town orgy.
But he gets eaten.
That's what I gave it. Well, no, I'm saying there's so much unanswered about.
That's true. So I always thought of it as like
they did do a summary of the guy that took the fall for him, but it's more of the town and the people that ate him that were like they did out of extreme love. I'm
they
like,
felt great.
I'm so interested in what happens to everyone that didn't die about their
and
lives.
Those kids
afterwards.
wearing those clothes.
Yeah,
I'll give it. All right, you talked me into it. Freebird. Police don't catch the killer. They don't.
They don't.
Because they let him go because he's an angel.
Yeah, his soul is free.
And he gets eaten. Do you think Hannibal would have eaten him?
You would say it was too powerful. He would have thought it was like ill-willed or some shit. He would have done something stupid.
Yeah. Not Hannibal. Killer's perspective. Number 9.
No, he would have ate all the people that ate him.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I say 9. Yes.
I was going to say like 9 like German, though. I'm like,
I say 9.
I say 9.
No, I say oui to 9.
I don't know the French, no.
No.
Oh, oh my God. Oh my God.
You got to bark it. No.
Oui, oui. That's all I know.
So I got 8 out of 9.
I think we did the same. I think we did it the same.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm just looking over my notes to make sure I didn't.
So, so even though I think when we originally set out for this season, we talked about like, is it serial killers? And then after we watched M, we kind of pivoted a little more towards like psychological thrillers. But this one really works on the serial killer level. You know, like it works really well for it. We got 8 out of 9. Like. So I think it's interesting that like M is kind of straddling that line.
It's on both. Yeah.
You know, it is. It's serial killer. It's psychological thriller. It's working for both for sure. You know.
Yeah, and then like don't tell mom your babysitter's dead is like both hardcore because it's psychologically like what is this?
Babysitter's
and then
dead.
It's serial killer as in like my mind's bleeding.
I think we screwed it up. I think it's don't tell your mom the babysitter's dead.
Mm-hmm. That's what we said.
No, you said your babysitter instead of your mom.
No, I kept saying your mom because I kept thinking.
I know, but just now.
I kept thinking about it every time I tell my son. I'm always like, hey, tell your mom I said hi.
Tell your mother I said hello.
I love to harass my son so bad. It's funny. Maybe that's why I said that thing about my beard.
Maybe that's why he said he wouldn't call you daddy anymore.
Aw.
You ruined it.
Yeah, by being a poor father.
Stop telling me to tell my mom hello.
It's just funny because he gets so pissed.
Well, why?
I don't know. I just started doing it. He took offense to it once, so I just do it whenever like he's being bad.
Tell your mom I said hello.
It's really a teachable moment where I teach him that if you're more juvenile than the child, then something happens. Then I laugh.
Oh, boy.
Well, I liked this movie.
Yeah, I like this movie, too. My wife mentioned that she had seen it before, and she was very confused by it and didn't understand why people would like it.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
That sounds right. That's her.
Yeah. My fiance was like, this is awesome. This was one of my favorite movies for a long time.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds right, too.
Yeah.
Fits so well.
The only reason I said that is because the exact opposite is my lady.
That's really funny. Yeah. And they love each other so much.
Have they met?
I think so.
Oh, nice. Saves us time.
All right. Well, that was good.
What are we doing next week? Because I genuinely don't remember.
Next week, we're going to watch a movie that I think is going to fit really well. And I'm really excited about because it's a movie that I love and I haven't seen in a long time. And it's called Prisoners.
Free Willy.
It's Free Willy 2.
Oh, Free Willy, The Prisoners.
Still willying. It's Free Willy style.
I watched Prisoners this year, and fuck, I shouldn't have done that because it takes a lot.
Rules.
You have to be ready to watch Prisoners.
Yeah,
it's
intense.
Hard to watch.
I've only seen it maybe 2 or 3 times, but I saw it in the theater
I've seen it at least a dozen times, and it's always great.
So good.
But it really is an endurance trial because you're like, this is fucking dark. Like,
now,
I don't want to give anything away, but if you haven't seen Prisoners, please watch it for next week's episode because it's traumatizing. So
as far as like directors go, I'm a big like I'm a big believer in the auteur kind of stuff where like if I like a movie from a director, if I love a director's movie, I kind of expect to at least like their other movies, you know? Mm-hmm. And I feel like with him, it's very hit or miss. Like, I love Prisoners. I love Arrival. Sicario, I thought was good. You know,
it's been a long time since I've seen that.
It's stuff like that where, like, he'll do that, or like Blade Runner 2049, which I
did not watch that.
I saw in the theater. I thought it was gorgeous, but kind of meant nothing to me. You know, and I haven't seen Dune yet. I hear good things, but like, you know. But I think Prisoners and Arrival are both like incredible movies. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Arrival?
Yeah. Didn't we see it together in the theaters?
Oh, maybe that's possible. We see movies together sometimes because we're friends, you see.
Yeah, like those squid aliens.
Yeah, they were cool. All right, well, we did it this week, right?
Yeah, we're men.
Men.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for listening this week. And tell all your friends about us. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what we do, you can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us online at KeystoneCopycats.com. We're at Keystone Copycats on Instagram and Facebook, and at Keystone Copycat on Twitter. If you got something to say, you can email us at KeystoneCopycats@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 513-239-7682. Check out Sinclarity of Dinosaur's Tale. And until next time, I'm going to be Zach. And you're going to be
Zach.
Oh,
I fucked it.